I still remember that morning like it just happened yesterday. Cold, foggy, not even 6 a.m. yet, and I was halfway through my first cup of coffee when my phone lit up with a voicemail from Hank Delaney. Now, Hank's the kind of rancher who doesn't rattle easy. Been working cattle longer than I've been alive, but his voice in that message? Tight, strained, like something was really wrong. Said his bull, Tank, hadn't moved in nearly 20 hours. Just laid there, alert but refusing food, water, even his favorite molasses lick. Told me he was worried, but more than that, confused. Said, "Doc, it ain't right. He's not sick, but he's not himself." So I grabbed my kit and hit the road. I'm Kit Langston, large animal vet, for over 15 years. I've seen broken legs, bloat, rabies, heat stroke, you name it. But that morning, driving through the back roads of Pine Bluff Ridge, something in my gut said this one was going to be different. Hank's ranch sits near the edge of Oak Shadow Hollow, about 300 acres of rolling pasture, with 1 bull, 15 cows, and a whole lot of barbed wire and history. Tank was his prize black Angus, over 2,300 pounds of muscle, smart as a border collie and twice as stubborn. He wasn't just a bull. He was the legacy of Hank's family line, bred from his father's breeding stock and meant to carry on the name. And for a bull like Tank to just stop, that set off every alarm in my head. When I pulled up to the pasture gate, I saw him massive, motionless, stationed near the edge of the old pine grove about half a mile from the barn. Hank met me there, his eyes sunken with worry and sleep deprivation. I tried to get close, he said, but he wouldn't let me. Snorted like a steam engine soon as I got within 50 feet. But he ain't mad. He's guarding, like a mama cow. That threw me off right there. Tank was known to be unusually calm around kids and other animals, but maternal? That's not a bull's wheelhouse. We started walking toward him real slow, and even from that distance, I could tell something wasn't right, but not in the way I expected. He wasn't in distress. His head was up, ears alert, eyes sharp. He was focused, intentional, and the way he had his body angled. It was like he was forming a protective wall with his own frame. I stopped Hank 20 yards out and told him, "Let me try alone. If he's guarding something, we don't want to trigger a reaction." I approached carefully, talking low and steady like I always do. "Hey there, big guy. Just me, remember? No shots today. Promise." As I got closer, real close now, I noticed Tank was lowering his head gently every few minutes, like he was checking on something beneath him. And then I saw it, just a flicker of movement, golden fur, barely visible beneath the arch of his chest and legs. My breath caught. It was a puppy, tiny, maybe 7 or 8 weeks old. Looked like a retriever mix. Curled up and fast asleep, right in the dry patch Tank had made by sheltering him from the damp ground and cold air. "Hank," I called without turning around, "you need to see this. But bring binoculars. Don't come too close." When he saw the pup, I swear his jaw dropped a full inch. What in the hell? I knelt down slowly, still talking to Tank, still watching for any sign he might charge. But he didn't. His muscles were tense, sure, but his eyes, they were soft, watchful. And that's when I realized this wasn't just protection out of instinct. This was care. This bull, this enormous, 2,300-pound wall of muscle and hooves, had decided to become a guardian. We pieced together a few things. That storm 3 nights earlier had knocked out fences across the county. Maybe the pup got lost, wandered from a nearby farm, or was dumped, which sadly ain't unheard of. But whatever happened, he found his way to Tank. Or maybe Tank found him. Either way, The bond was real, and Tank wasn't letting anyone near. Now, I've studied animal behavior for years, and I can tell you this. What we saw went against everything the textbooks say about bulls. They're not supposed to show parental behavior. They're not supposed to be this emotionally nuanced. But Tank shattered every expectation. We tried everything carefully. I had Hank bring some soft blankets, puppy chow, a water bowl. I placed them just outside Tank's perimeter. At first, he didn't budge. Then the pup whimpered just a little and Tank stepped back, just enough for the pup to reach the food. Still guarded, but trusting us a hair more. That small gesture, it floored me. Over the next few hours, we stayed out there. I spoke to both of them gentle tones, no sudden moves. The puppy warmed to me first, wagging his tail, licking my hand through the grass. Tank watched it all, letting me inch closer each time. By sundown, I was kneeling beside them. I finally got to check the pup, no injuries, just hungry and cold. I asked Hank, what do we do now? He rubbed his jaw, sighed deep. Can't separate them. Not now. We came up with a plan, built a small enclosure beside the barn, half shaded with room for both of them. Took half a day, but when we brought them in together, slow, no pressure, they settled right in. Tank didn't even flinch. He lay down, and the pup curled up right next to him like it was the most natural thing in the world. Hank named the pup Lucky. Weeks passed, then months. Tank and Lucky became inseparable. Tank would graze, and Lucky would follow him like a shadow. During storms, Tank would position himself between the wind and that little dog, shielding him. And when strangers came near, Tank would step forward, firm but calm, as if to say, "You go through me first." We had researchers come out. One from the state university wrote a whole paper on them, said Tank showed signs of emotional cognition not usually associated with bovines. Said it was evidence that empathy isn't just a human thing. I could have told her that. What struck me most wasn't the science, though. It was watching this animal bred for power and dominance find peace in nurturing. Tank didn't just protect Lucky. He needed Lucky. It gave him purpose. And Lucky? Well, he never had to be afraid again. A year later, they're still together. They've become a fixture in the community. Kids visit the ranch just to see them. And Hank, crusty old cowboy that he is, tears up every time he talks about it. Funny how life works. I thought I was answering a medical emergency that morning. But what I walked into was something a whole lot deeper. Something about trust. About finding family where you least expect it. And maybe, just maybe, about the idea that love, real, selfless, instinct-defying, love ain't limited by species. So let me ask you, if a bull and a stray puppy can find a way to heal each other, what excuse do the rest of us have? Let me know in the comments what you think. Is this nature gone wild, or proof that animals understand more than we give them credit for? And would you have let them stay together, or separated them for safety? I want to hear your thoughts, your stories, your hearts. And if this story moved you even half as much as it moved me, go ahead and share it. Because stories like these, they remind us what's possible when we lead with care instead of control.